Hello and welcome everyone. This is going to be a short trade breakdown of BB. So a little context here during the pre-market is that we had aspirins at 1750, 18, 1850, 19, and 1950, and all these levels were above print personality, meaning that the market maker's intentions are for the stock, for them to build in the stock, right? For them to pull it back, for them to acquire the shares, and then for them to make money on their position after they acquire and build. So we did get a pullback from 1950 to 19, but really that's not significant enough for how much buying they've showed at each level. So really looking for a pullback to about 18 and around 1750 from the amount of buying that they showed. So the case scenarios here coming into open, they could either drop it and steal the shares right at the open and it immediately goes to 1750 or around that 18 area, or the higher percentage situation would be for the market maker to use the volume of the morning and all the hype that's been into BB, and to allow retail to get in and set up retail so they can steal their shares, right? Push it up to 20 on the way up. Print 19 ask, 1950 ask, 20 ask above print personality. That shows that they won't have the intentions to build, but really the whole morning should be set up to set up retail to trap them in, and then drop the hammer on them and then build. So you would gather more shares, right? They already told us that they want to gather shares, so they would be most efficient if they push this up to 20 like it was going to break out, allow retail to get in, and then from there drop the hammer on them and fulfill their building. So we opened here. Forgive that little glitch in the morning. It was a lot of volume. 5 million for the first bar can really slow you down a little bit. 19 ask above print personality. That shows us that our pullback, our game plan of a pullback should come to fruition, but we know that it makes more sense for them to push it here instead of immediately pull it back. We know that much at 19 tells us that market maker is looking to build and acquire, so it makes more sense to push here to 20. The retail mind is going to be get in here, but we know that the whole pre-market they didn't acquire as much shares as they needed to in terms of their pullback. So we know that this morning we have to be cautious of them setting up retail like they are now. We know that 19 ask, they had no pullback at all, really. That much at 19 really should pull back to 18 for them to acquire, if not 1750. But retail mind right now, retail's getting into this. They see this coming at 20. They think this is going to break out on such high volume. But we know that the market maker's intentions from how much they showed at each level is not for the stock to run to 25 in this instance. They need to build first, and for them to build, we need that pullback. So we pushed in, didn't hit 20 here. We did have 1950 ask, but that was a lot lighter than the 19 ask. And we're in this congestion area, so definitely want to avoid taking a trade within this congestion. 19 bids there. So those 19 bids there, we have the ability for that. From per our rules, it tells us that should pull up at least to 1950. We haven't really seen the off-level reaction to show that we're going to trigger all the way to 18 just yet. And that 19 bids really should pull up to about 50 cents. And we're in this congestion area. We don't want to take a trade within this congestion. If it's going to trigger down, we have room to 1750. We can take a bar under 19 with continuation. We have the buying that says it needs to pull back, and then we have the bids at 19 really fit into that picture of it needs to pull back to build. We just need that quick pull up from those 19 bids. And we're in this congestion area. Again, we don't want to be taking a trade within this congestion. Preferably it goes above 20 and then we take a trigger down, or within this consolidation here we get a trigger down all the way through that print line and then we take a trigger under that print line. But again, that consolidation, that congestion, we're just consolidating here. larger bars, of course, but they definitely snagged some retail shares on that bar as well. Continuing up, it really makes sense for them to ask at 20 and even push it up a little above to really trap retail, and then for them to accomplish their plan of pulling it back to build. So 20 asks, psychological level. We know our best pullback trades or short trades, our number one trades are always at psychological levels. So those 20 ask, a combination with those 19 ask, really shows that market maker is looking to build, and they're setting up retail right now. All I am looking for is a trigger down. Price target is going to be 18. Conservative, really 1750. Just looking for that trigger now, right? We have all the information we need. We knew the pre-market that they were looking to build. We knew that high percentage setup was for them to set up retail by making it look like it's going to break out in the morning, and then printing ask prints at 19 and 20 above print personality. That shows us that that's just the tip of the iceberg. They need to build on those positions. So, looking for a number one short trade here. Could this turn into an exception and just run 221, 2250? It could, but we can't chase that long. We need that pullback because the market makers told us that that's what their intentions were from the amount that they printed, the amount they bought at those levels. So looking for a trigger here. So I would take a shot at this bar around this 60. 60 to 70 would be my entry short, right? And then I would use that 20 as my stop out if it breaks back above 20. But just, the number one short trade for how much there was at 20 being a psychological level. This is a high percentage trade here. We need that continuation and follow through. This is our number one short trade off those 20 ask. The whole puzzle fits here, right? 19 needs a pullback, 20 needs a pullback, 20 being a psychological level. Number one short trade. Way above print personality. And again, we set up a game plan from the pre-market. We understood that it makes sense for market makers to set up retail before they accomplish their plan of taking shares, stealing shares, accumulating, barring down on retail here. 19 bids. Now we're just getting that follow through. We need to get through this print line here, through those congestion. Price target is 18. Really, 1750 should get us there. 1850 bids there. Beautiful price action. Stealing so many retail shares right now. 18 bids. So there's our first price target with this large of price action. I take some exposure off here. That's our price target. Doesn't hurt to take exposure off at your price target. We know with that much buying at 20, 19 all through the pre-market, just to 18 really is very conservative price target. So, but we know with this large price action, we could easily come back and test 19, and we know we got that selling at 18, 1850, which we expect a quick pull up here just from that selling alone. And now we're just managing our trade. But that's how you set up a game plan from the pre-market and into the open, understanding the whole market maker's game plan, understanding how they can accomplish that game plan by using retail to their advantage. They stole so many shares on this move. So many retail they see that buying at 19, 1950, 20, and all that pre-market, and they're thinking this is going to go above 20, this is going to break out. But really, we knew and we were disciplined. Our rules tell us it needs to pull back. The market maker's intentions tell us it needs to pull back. We set up our game plan. We set up a trigger. We set up a price target. We set up a risk to reward ratio. I was willing to risk about 40 cents to make $2+. 20 being a psychological level, great place to take a number one short trade off of. And now we're just in management mode. But that is our number one short trade. That is how you make a $2 trade early in the morning. Boom, $2.50 trade right there. That's our price target. Take some more off at our price target, $17.50, and then now it's just trade management. But that is how it's done. This is how we use the pre-market to our advantage of following the market maker in the pre-market, understanding that, okay, he needs to build on his large positions, right? And then how he can use retail to his advantage, the market maker's advantage. And then we understood the market open, how much was at 19 and 20 that needed to pull back. And then we set up our game plan, and that's it. Thank you all for watching. Plan on doing many more of these as long as the market keeps giving us beautiful trades like this, and it followed our rules perfectly. If you're interested in learning more about tape reading, I am the current student liaison, so I'm not an instructor. This is just my personal breakdowns from the teachings that Rich has taught us. Come join our community and learn to tape read. Thank you all.